Welcome back to From Nine to Mom, where we discuss being bossy moms, or wait, bosses and moms, and everyday life with little kids.
Wow, what an intro. So, obviously, it's not just me and Danielle today. We have my loving husband, Ryan, on the podcast on his
The
first day of
first,
summer.
the first male to infiltrate the podcast. You know,
Yes,
There,
I,
this is
okay.
a
I want to,
milestone.
I want a plaque.
Yeah, but now you already just called us bossy moms, so we might just like harness that energy throughout this
He left
entire
out the
episode.
he left out the boss bitch, so I think it's okay.
Yeah,
Could
it's
have
I
been
fine.
didn't
worse.
want to. I don't want to swear.
Oh, okay.
You're a good
This
boy.
is
You're a good teacher, but remember it's summertime, so you're kind of free right now.
It is
You're
summertime.
How you
Yeah.
feeling? I mean, I know you have the next couple days to relax, but then it's full on daddy daycare mode next week. So, what are you
Yeah,
thinking?
with summer, it's hard to really describe. You work all school year long to.
For those of you who aren't
I know.
watching, Ryan just buzzed a bottle of wine out of nowhere and is drinking
Um,
at 9:30 in the morning.
And also for the record, he's in my office at work and pulled that out of my fridge in the office.
being a teacher, we don't get those kind of luxuries to have in our office.
To just have a bottle of wine.
You might
on
get
hand.
fired, right?
We're gonna have to
No
take
way.
it home now that you opened that.
Oh, I might need a nap. No, being a teacher though, you work all year long. From September to June, it's a real push. It's they call it a marathon, but it's really a sprint every single day. No matter what you do, especially teaching older. I teach fourth grade, so a little bit older kids. So it's a lot of personalities, and then I clock out at 3:45 and clock back in at 3:47 when I pick the kids up from school or daycare. So I get about 2 minutes in the car. Usually it's silence, and sometimes it's some rock music or something just to get myself ready for the second shift.
It's usually Shabuzi right now. Let's
Yeah,
be
I
real.
like him. Is that I don't know the names of people, but whatever's on the next
It's the
Spotify.
summer jam, but I'm laughing
Yeah.
that you said rock music because my brother Joe will always pull up when he has the kids to straight like rock crazy
Yeah.
bitch is like his favorite jam. Like with the kids in the car, like he just pulls up and we're
Right.
like, good job.
Hey, you gotta get in the right mindset,
Jack's
You gotta
like in the
go.
phase though that he's like, I don't like this song. Put on Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah, we do a
That's
lot.
all he listens to right now.
We got a lot of Frosty. Our Spotify Wrapped in January looks much different than it did like a couple of years ago. A lot
Yeah.
of Over the Hill and Five Little Ducks, and this year will be Frosty will be on the number one list. So
Right.
It's
used to
on
be
Christmas in
repeat.
July. Christmas in July. It's fine, guys.
right. Yeah, we love Christmas. If you know anything about the Fitzgeralds, we are all about Christmas. Katie has our Christmas tree up entirely too early, but I've never complained about it. So
Right?
Well, I'm glad that you got some jams to keep you moving and motivated this summer. But I feel like if I were in your shoes, I'd be used to I went to a school, Geneseo, that was primarily education. So a lot of my friends are teachers, and the summers were kind of their like respite, right? Like you just said, it's a sprint every single day. They had all that time, and now you're going right in, like you said, to the next job. And I know that you're also doing summer school. So are you nervous trying to balance all of it?
For when I was younger, when I first started teaching, I would do like summer camp. I'd work like as like a director of a summer camp. So it was kind of like the same sort of thing. This is the first time I've ever done summer school. We're at a spot now. We're lucky that both Katie has some little bit of flexibility with her work, and also my parents are going to watch the boys for summer school. But I'm not nervous. It's just I think it's going to be different. Um, I'm going into my 11th year of teaching, which is just incredible to say. And I just think like summer is just a different mindset. Even preparing for the summer, like the kids, I don't know what their expectations are. I know what my expectations are, but I think I'm teaching fifth graders this summer, so I think their expectations are going to be just a little bit different. Than
Fifth
what
grade
happens in sixth grade.
isn't that like where people start like making out behind the lockers and stuff? Like, are you concerned about that?
No, I'm not concerned about it. I hope it doesn't happen. That age of kid can be a little challenging because a lot of the time they move, they're going out of childhood more into like preteen, and middle school is like is like a they say it's like a jungle, but it is like a jungle. Like there's
New
everybody's
song, Welcome to
changing
the
every
Jungle.
yeah,
Play that on the
middle
way in.
school's so academically for summer school though, we really just try to boost them so that they're able to kind of we call it in education the summer slide. So we don't want them to slide too far back, regress too far back on their skills. Um, so that they kind of have like a head start, a little bit of a head start going into sixth grade. So we'll see. I mean, it's the first year I've done it. I have people, I have friends who have done it before. They say it's really like fulfilling, and the kids that want to be there, it's a choice. So it's not like they have to go. So hopefully the kids that are there, um, like want to be there, which is good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think too it's interesting that after this many years it's the first time that you've done it. I feel like when we were younger, we used to joke about it and you're like, I don't work in the summer. Sorry, like that's not what I
yeah.
do. And we've always been lucky that you really haven't. And then with Jack the last 2 summers, I mean, last
Mhm.
summer I was home with you. We just had a little family. We had a little baby. Like it wasn't a
Yeah.
Mhm.
real summer. I feel
We
like
Oh
we
were
were
in
yeah,
like,
you
survival
were on
mode. Yeah.
maternity.
yeah. So like I was like, we were just like not sleeping and like trying to get
I
through
was on paternity leave. Hold on. I was on paternity leave as well.
for
So
I'm
you're
two
joking.
both
seconds.
That's
we
a joke.
we
That's a
both
joke.
just gave you the death glare.
we're like, what?
That's a joke. I
No,
know. I
dude.
have
But
to.
like last summer was like a fluke though, because like so for the month of June, like I couldn't lift anything, like
Yeah.
couldn't take care of Jack at all. We didn't
Right.
sleep. It's like a blur. And then like we had such high expectations for last summer. I felt like too, because we were like, I won't be pregnant, like whatever. And it like took me like 8 weeks to recover from the
Mhm.
C-section, and then I finally felt like having a beer, and then we started having a little, but like by the time we got into summer, it was like back to work. Here we go.
Over already.
Yeah. And
Right.
then the year before that, you had Jack solo.
But was that the
Yeah,
year
I
that he
had.
also worked? You worked with us for a little bit. Katie was your
Yeah.
boss for
So
5 minutes.
yeah,
I
Katie
think
was the
so.
boss bitch.
It
I
was
worked for you.
literally his boss.
I did so well before Jack was born. That summer before Jack was born, that was the summer of Ryan. I played a lot of golf. I answered a lot of Google reviews.
I was fucking
I
miserable.
it was Katie was super pregnant. She was pregnant all summer, and I kind of could see that. I was like, man, this is it. Like that. This is my last real summer of Ryan. Um, so thankfully, I was able to work. YPC hired me on, um, and I did some small stuff for you guys, stuff that I could kind of do when I wanted, as I wanted to. And then last year, 2 years ago, when Jack was he was 10 months, 11 months old. We spent the whole summer together, him and I. So that was real daddy daycare.
I
Um,
feel like that was the hardest summer so far though with kids for you.
you know what? It was more of like the learning. It was so much learning. And it was I actually on the
Wait,
job
you
learning.
were Jack.
Him and
That was
Um,
Jack.
like so hard because he wasn't walking yet, and like he
no,
wanted to move so bad, but like it's hard to do stuff when they wouldn't crawl around on the
right,
ground all the time.
right. And so that was a big summer. That he was also adjusting through 3 naps to 2 naps at that time. So it was just I always am thankful that I had that time with him. We did a lot of, we connected a ton um in that summer. But I feel like, I have friends, I have a lot, most of the people I work with are women, and that are moms. So they spend a lot of the time in the summer with their kids. So we kind of have a little bit of a village of like, we have a group chat of like who's doing what today, or who's doing going to the zoo, or who's that's really nice to be able to kind of lean on my coworkers and my like friends who have little kids as well. Because in the summer it's really hard. Jack doesn't go to daycare and he's got a little brother. Um, but like they're not seeing other kids. Like you're not seeing a lot of other kids during the summer.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of parents ask me, what do you do with your kids during the summer? Like how do you get them around other kids? And it's like you kind of have to be adventurous a little bit and get out there and um, you'll see if you go out during the summer to kids stuff. There's a lot of just like little kids running around. Like that's just what it is. So I think thankfully that first summer I kind of got over the hump of like the fear of like, okay, like he's mine 5 days a week. Like we have, that was a big, big job. Way harder than teaching. which I will say, like, you know,
I do
but that
think
is what it is.
that's
It's an
kind of
always
crazy to
on.
hear you say. Yeah, because I think that there's a lot
Yeah.
of our listeners who we work 9 to 5 and then we have the mothering thing, but
Right.
the mothering thing, the big part of our lives where we
That little
take
thing.
care of the kids. But I think a
Yeah.
lot of people are in that boat where it's like being a parent, a full-time
Mhm.
parent is sometimes like
Oh,
the hardest job in the world, right?
I am really ready to go back to school in September. Like I don't have any qualm saying that. Like you'll ask Catie every year. Like, before we had kids, I was like, here we go, school starting again. And uh but by the I think it's just affirmed, having the kids over the summer, it's affirmed me to like my purpose is to not only be a teacher, but also be a dad, but not be a full-time parent, like a full-time stay-at-home parent. Um, I think it's hard. I think I don't, after that first summer, um, I knew some stay-at-home moms for a few years that like, you kind of like have a thing in your head where you're like, oh, what are they doing all day? And then you stay home with a kid and you're like, oh, I know what they're doing all day. Like I know exactly how that goes. So,
They could have used that wine
um,
bottle that you pulled out probably around now
Yes.
as well.
yes, it'll, I don't see how far I want to go. It doesn't taste bad. It's a nice age.
Good year.
Good year.
Well, so I know we have we've talked about a couple times on the podcast our schedule for the summer because the Fitzgeralds thrive on schedule. So like me and Ryan have probably talked through like how our schedule is going to be starting not next week. Next week's like a fluke, but then the following week we're going to be like really into like our new schedule for literally
Mhm.
4 weeks. But like what do you so now like you're not going to have the kids in the morning, but you're going to have them in all afternoon and both of our
Yep.
kids are like active doing stuff. So like what's the
Mhm.
plan? What are you going to do with them?
Well, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. Even with Jack, I can speak to with Jack a few years ago, when he was only 10 months old. Being a teacher, like if you know any teachers, they are schedule freaks. Like you have to be on a schedule. I have, if my day's not planned out for the most part, like I feel off. Like I just feel like disjointed. I don't know. It's probably some sort of disorder, or just anxiety, but I'm not telling myself that.
This
Uh,
is an undiagnosed mental
But like any teacher you meet, like they're gonna say the same thing. They love being on a schedule. It takes a while. Like that's just I think how we're programmed. Um, and I found that the kids thrive on that as well. My own children thrive on that.
Mhm.
Jack sometimes will ask us, well, what time is breakfast? We have breakfast now. I'm like, yes, you're right. Let's have breakfast. Like, so like even when we try to divert from the schedule, they pick up on that pretty
or
quickly.
how about when Jack wakes up every morning?
That's so sad. Don't even talk about that.
He literally, Danielle, every morning he wakes up, he goes, "Where am I going today?" And we're like,
Oh,
"Oh, cool.
I'm like, oh,
Thanks.
thanks, buddy.
Not here. I guess we just take you
Yeah.
Saturday
somewhere
and
else
Sundays,
every
he's like, Saturdays and Sundays, he's like, wait, I'm here today? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? So it's like, that's hard. That's hard for a 3-year-old to hear, for you to hear that from a 3-year-old, but, um, almost 3-year-old, but it is
yeah,
what it is. Like
that is a tough
reality, that's
situation.
reality. It's reality, I
Colton
mean,
asks every day, is it the weekend, mommy? Is it the weekend? Do I get to stay home with you today?
basically
That's
yeah,
a tough
begging in
part.
your
But the
heart like
schedule is true. Like, yeah, your heart breaks, but the schedule thing is true. Like even Colton is like, okay, when I know on the weekend my schedule
right.
changes, and I'm not a
right,
schedule person, but the kids thrive on I'm a fluid schedule. Like I like
yeah,
things, but with the kids, they do thrive on schedule. So I've had to change my habit quite a bit. So
right.
I get what
And
you're
again,
saying, but also
that's
now your
just
schedule.
right. And that's just like what it is. I mean, and it's gonna change, right? We have a 1-year-old and an almost 3-year-old, so like it's not going to be the same next year. Like we have this conversation next summer, and things are going to be completely different again. So I think it's like you said, the fluidity in it of like being flexible, but also like I think they do thrive on a schedule. So to answer your question, Katie, our schedule is, for the most part, I'll pick the kids up 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then um, depending on their naps, Kel will nap pretty much every day, twice a day. But Jack he depends on his mood and if he's feeling like taking a nap. If you have a toddler, you know what I'm talking about.
He runs the house.
Yeah,
He
so
does.
I think some days he just likes to rest, and then the rest days are fine. But then at 6 o'clock, the rest days you're like, why the hell did it need nap? You know. Um, but no, I think in my opinion, you have to get out of the house. You can't just sit at home all day. Like you have to go and do
Hmm.
something. 2 years ago when I had Jack all summer, we had a very good routine of like, we would eat our breakfast, I'd clean up breakfast, and then I'd go for a walk, and then we'd come back, you'd take a nap, and then we'd go out. So it's like, and the hard part with that is like in the summer, financially, we don't have unlimited funds in the summer. Um,
Hmm.
I think that's hard, getting your bang for the buck with money, because teachers, we plan for the summer, but it's never perfect. I just needed breaks from my
It's never enough.
I
It's
just
never enough.
I just need breaks from my car, and it's like I couldn't need breaks in February. I needed breaks in June, like you know what I mean. So it's like one of those things where you're just like annoyed that it's always something, right? Whether it's your car,
Yeah.
something comes up. So it's just like,
Well, and for the record, so Ryan's school doesn't offer 12-month
right,
paychecks.
right.
It's just when he's actually teaching. So
I'm on.
no
That's not an
paycheck for
option.
Ryan
Mhm.
for he's still getting his full salary, but like you would think smart people would put money aside every paycheck to cover the summer, and so
Yeah.
It's okay. You are very smart. A. B. You're balling on a budget. And I think that's a lot of
hey,
people in the summer. So, like, what activities, and you have two kids, two different ages now.
Right.
yeah.
So, with that being said, what are some activities that you suggest? You don't want the kids, like, to not do anything. I feel like so stressed, like, for parents and
Well,
for
it's a lot of
myself,
pressure.
even,
Right.
right?
It's a lot of
Like,
pressure too.
educational value,
Right. So I think
money.
right. Well, money. Okay. So like if you break it down, like right, you don't want to be spending $50 a day. You want to really bang for your buck things. But I also think too, like there's so many free things to do. Around, I don't know about down there, but around here, like we have, you know, 30 parks within 5 miles. So, finding the
I
park
feel like most places do
Hmm.
like
pretty.
somewhere up here in Rochester, someone put together like the best parks
Yeah,
for
there's like
toddlers
a
this
yeah,
summer or
there's like a
whatever.
like a checklist you could go through. But like, with Jack, like so I'm lucky that we live pretty close to some parks. Like so I think free parks are great. Splash parks are great. Um, I can't wait to get Kale and Jack to a splash park because I think they're gonna like love it there, like when the water shoots up. And those are free. Um, then education wise, the libraries are all free.
Hmm.
I'm getting Jack a library card next week. So like I think him being able to like involve himself in those types of things, you know, I think education wise though, you don't need to push it in the summer. There's no if your kid is below first or second grade, you already know. Let me rephrase that. If your child is younger than kindergarten, I wouldn't push the school stuff too much. If your kid is first, second, third grade, you should know whether or not they're like on track or they're below average or they're excelled. Like so that's something you got to kind of figure out with your teacher or your educator, your school. But I would say, I mean, even down in South Carolina where you are, um, schools are really good and really transparent. So it's not a secret if your kid is below where they should be, like the benchmark, then you should know. Like, and then that's something
Yeah.
where the tutoring or like summer camp or summer school could be something that's an option. And a lot of the time too with education, I always say, reading is like a habit. Like reading's the big one right now. But the science of reading, like you have to like really try. It's a memory. It's like a muscle. You have to build the reading brain up. Like you have to read. It's a skill, and you will lose it if you don't practice it. And that's why like just having books around, books.
Getting the library card, making it like a weekly thing
Right. And
or a good habit.
I suggest that to my students into the summer. Like I ask them, do you have a library card? Do you know where your nearest library is? Like being just around books because even I grew up, we went to the library, back when we were in the library, I was able to get two
Heck,
books and a VHS, which is a cool thing.
Yeah, that was
wow.
the best.
Or
I
sometimes,
agree.
sometimes they had like we could get like a video game if they had that. So like, that was cool. That was, I think, how my mom motivated us to go to the library. I wasn't a big reader growing up. My brother was. And then I wanted to kind of emulate him. So I would, I'd read the books that he already read, you know, and we were lucky we had classics like Harry Potter and um God, classics like Harry Potter. I can't even believe I
Class.
said
I
that. Oh,
the way you just said that, I was like,
oh my
wow.
God.
You've really aged. We have to. You
You've
have
gotten
aged
really
yourself this
old
whole
in this
podcast.
podcast.
Uh,
I'm way older than you.
Started.
anyway, so yeah, so like
Just ignore us.
being around books, really is a huge thing. And then listen, I don't judge people for the iPads or the tablets. That stuff on there is pretty good. And if you're gonna let your kid have screen time, I'd rather them have screen time than something that's educational. It's not something that's like, we've all seen the videos of like the the little there's like these little people on there that don't even speak English or don't even speak like words that like I don't know the word.
Reviewing like they're reviewing toys
Yeah,
and like
right,
that
right,
stuff.
right. So again, I think that kind of stuff, they're gonna be exposed to that at school. Like they're gonna have technology at school. There's no secret to that. Like they're gonna have a computer, they're gonna have a tablet, something's gonna be there at school. You can't hide from it. You'd rather them be capable on it, but not dependent. So like that's a hard thing. A rainy day, that's tricky. Like, what do you do? You know, we get that a lot in the winter time. So I think the big things are education wise, books, being around books, finding something that's interesting. And then I always think like, being out like in nature, getting them outside, looking for different bugs or different trees. We got Jack a bug. I don't even know, Katie, where you found it.
It's like from the dollar store. They had a little bug catcher that was like a little clear
Is it
thing, and
the
he's obsessed with
He's like
finding
obsessed
like
with finding
bugs to
like
put in it.
worms and bugs, but like that kind of stuff, that creativity part of it is something that like that's unbelievable. Like that's so cool.
Yeah, we have a greenway here. It's $13 a month, and it's got like all these trails and nature parks and like all that
Right,
stuff. And
right,
the kids
right.
love going and finding their creatures. Daisy is a murderer, so I have to be careful. She squeezes them and loves them too
You guys
hard.
don't handle animals well over your house.
Listen, my daughter just loves them so much. She like, oh, look at it, like, and squeeze. I'm like, no, give it to me. But
It's like Lenny.
yeah, but that kind of stuff is
I
fun.
was just gonna say
Lenny,
she's a Lenny.
she's a Lenny from Mice and Men.
She's that
You
girl
love
that goes
love
like
it so
this
much and squeeze
with
it
the
too hard.
fish and the braces and
Yeah.
Nemo.
Oh yeah, her
that's
too.
a good
Yeah.
one too. Shaking the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
So I think
Ryan, when are you going to have time for golf? Like you've all
I
these
know
good,
that's
like
you
all
haven't
this good
mentioned.
advice, but you haven't
You've gotten
talked about
20
your number one.
So
23 minutes
you
of no golf.
you
talk.
asked me for my bucket.
This is
So
a record.
I know you guys are going to bring that up later. So we'll talk about that later. But golf is a huge part of my life. It is an addiction. I'm not afraid to say that. I think knowing it's an addiction is important, but
It's a huge part of my life.
I live with it.
It's right up there with me and the kids.
What is that thing like? Fate, God, family, golf. Is that like what you're?
Put that on a shirt. No, but I think golf. I think obviously my mindset has shifted a little bit more. Gone were the days where I could go and play 3, 4 times a week. Um, Thankfully, I play the golf league, which is super helpful because that makes me be there. Like, and I'd pay for it, so like it's prepaid. I gotta go. I'll feel bad if it doesn't. I know you're laughing at me.
Gotta go.
No, you're doing great, honey.
Thanks. Golf is more of a time to connect with my friends as well. So like my dad and my brother play religiously, just like your dad and your brothers play and your husband play religiously. But I think golf, I'm more appreciative when I'm out there now because I know how often I don't get to play as much as I'd like.
Golf is a gift. Golf is a gift, Ryan.
I'm
Right up
really,
there,
really hoping that next summer Jack likes to play golf. Jack wants to be out on the golf course.
I was going to say you could go practice, get like one of those putters with the kids. Jordan did it in the garage.
Yep.
So now we
Danielle
golf
sent
every
us
day.
the little golf set for
Yeah,
him.
did.
He's just not there yet.
We got to get that out.
He's just not there yet, but he will be. He'll be there eventually.
I'm supporting your addiction, Ryan.
You're gonna
I'm trying
train.
to support
You're gonna
it.
train.
You're
him
an enabler.
to-
You both
to
are
be a golf-
enablers.
Facts. Yeah, we're the first ones wearing the shirt saying like too much golf, but we're like, here's a gift so that you can play golf with
Go
your
play
kids.
Yeah.
Go play golf.
I would love. I mean, again, golf. I was an athlete growing up. I played baseball and hockey, and it didn't. Golf was like we laughed at the golfers. We were like, Look at those old guys playing golf. And now
Idiots.
it's
You're the
like,
old guy.
damn, I'm the old guy playing
Here we
golf.
go.
So
Again.
So, Ryan, what's something that you want our followers to know? Because obviously Danielle and I talk a lot about you and Jordan on the podcast, and we share some stories. But what's something that you want them to know about you? Or like, do you feel like you need to
defend myself.
defend anything that we've said? Or
No, I think that both of you do a pretty nice job of being realistic. I think from people that I've talked to, I don't know, I think that husbands and dads are different nowadays, completely. I think that even when I talk to some of the older people at my job or relatives, and I tell them either I'm home with them all summer or, I they see me in action with kids. I've always been a kid person, right? So I've known I wanted to be a teacher since I was like eighth grade. Like I knew I'm going to be a teacher. I've always positioned myself to be a teacher and be like somebody that likes to work with kids. Um, but I think dads are different now. I think just they have to be. Let me rephrase it. I think good dads are different now. I think they are taking, parts of their life. I think that there's a lot more, even nowadays, more time spent on, social emotional learning, which I can't believe I said that, but like it's true. Um, you know, Gone are the days, and my dad was not like this, and I'm sure your dads weren't like this, but gone are the days where dad comes home from work at 5:30 and sits on the couch and just sits there. I was lucky enough, my own father, that he was supportive. We played sports, that he was around. He did all of the great things, and so did my mom. But I think dads nowadays are even more involved with the planning, the the care of kids. Um, the story of Calvin being born. Katie was rushed to the emergency room. Calvin was born, and I had him for the first 3 hours of his life. And countless nurses came in to check on me, and they're like, "Oh, like you're fine, like you got this." So I think that part of it is just like learning as you go for dads. But no, I think you guys are pretty transparent, and I call Katie out if she drags me a little too far, but it is what it is.
sometimes, you guys you have to admit that sometimes you just don't understand.
No,
And that's okay.
and again, how could I? How could we? You know? So,
See, but what you said is right. Like, dads are different these days. And I think there's a lot of reasons why you guys saw things in your past. And honestly, like Katie and I, we talk about it all the time, but we work full time. Katie, I didn't come, my mom was home with me full time, which was a blessing.
Yep.
And honestly, I loved it. But we can't do all the things and seeing
Right.
people step up. But, we got to throw shade. We got to throw a little shade at you guys sometimes just for fun, I
Well, we're
think,
comic
to
relief.
laugh.
That's how my
But
life
you
goes.
guys do the same thing on the golf course. Let's not lie. I've seen the group texts. So
I don't know
I
what
think we
you're
should
talking about.
I think we should read some of those on another episode. But I want Ryan to know like what your bucket list is outside of all the things we talked about. I know you alluded golf is clearly going to be a part of it, but
Right. So I did
we
write
do
this
want to
down.
know.
Yeah. So my big three for this summer um, is number one is a home one. Um,
That's a big okay.
that's on the
Love
bucket
it.
list.
Great. Okay.
At putt putt or at the actual course?
I'm gonna have a home one eventually this summer, sometime before I start school again.
You got this, right? Go
Um,
ahead.
my next bucket list is to get Jack fully potty trained. I think that's a big one. Katie and I it's kind of been waiting on us. We've been like waiting, and I'm like, oh, this summer we'll do it. Well, shit, it's summer. It's time.
It's more of a have to. Like he has to be by September.
Right. So I think
What is it?
there's a
September
little
9th,
bit of
he has
pressure
to.
there, but he's smart. He's a smart kid, so I think it's just kind of getting him over that like potty train hump, which I'd love when you guys find a specialist for the potty training, let me know.
I don't know if there is one.
My mom's pretty good.
I just need a good carpet cleaner, I think. So I think that's just what we'll just do, or just roll up all the carpets in the house and just go full hardwood. That's easier to clean.
Yes, that's the way to go. Pee pads.
And then my final one is just really to appreciate like the dull moments. I hate to say it, but like appreciate like the the rainy days where like you were just stuck at home, but like how many times you sit at work and you're like, damn, I just wish I was with my kids right now. So I think like appreciating like the dull moments. Like obviously we're gonna go do fun. So we're gonna go to Seabreeze. We're gonna go to the zoo. We're gonna go to the parks. But I think it's like that like 5 o'clock where you're waiting for dinner. That just appreciate like they're only this age once. They're only gonna be. We look at pictures of Jack all the time. We're like, damn, that went so fast. So I think appreciating that like more for Calvin, but like really just being like, damn, he's won. Like he's already won. Like he's gonna be talking soon. So that like baby
So
toddler.
happy of you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's so sweet. I'm like, wow, I can't wait till
He's
Jordan
really putting
listens
on
to
a front,
this.
everyone.
I am not a
It's really golf, or all three.
I want to break 70 now. Breaking 80 now. No, really though, like I feel like that's the hard part for the summer is like you have your expectations are so high. You want to do A, B, C, D, and E, but it's like when it gets to it, you're gonna be in a messy house. You're gonna have to clean up lunch when you're done with lunch. Like if you embrace that like messiness, like embrace like the mess.
No, we're not doing that.
No.
You're going to keep a clean house.
That is
You're going to
a
run a tight ship this summer.
that is a area of growth for
Come on, Cinderella.
for me is my housekeeping abilities. But damn, those kids are gonna have fun.
I love it, Ryan. I definitely feel that.
All right,
My
so I
daughter-
think Ryan, you need to leave us off on your best dad joke.
Oh man,
Ooh, I love this.
jeez Louise. Hold on one second.
Because
I have-
turns out you're a talker here. We're already at 32 minutes.
Yeah,
We already lost people.
That's okay.
I hope not, because that last
know,
piece
right?
was very motivational.
See, everyone, he is so sweet. It's not just
I listen.
golf
It's
24/7.
not. No, it's. 1 second. I have one saved on my phone. I just have to look it up. One moment, please.
You got to have these like
I don't
ready to
have
go.
a-
Actually, I
have
actually
a-
got served something on TikTok that was like you can buy like dad joke index cards to like have, or like it's like one of those calendars that has the dad jokes on them.
So this is a joke I actually one of my coworkers who was a former teacher of mine says all the time, and she's a math teacher, and I aspired to be more of a math teacher later in my career, but
In your old age.
in my old age. But her joke is, what do you call a chicken that's good at counting? You call it a math chicken.
Wow.
Cute, Ryan. Cute, Ryan. That's very cute.
That was a mix of a teacher and dad joke.
Correct.
So great job.
That's me. That's teacher dad right here.
Great job.
All right.
I love
All right.
it.
Well, you got to send us out here. Give us our closing.
Yeah.
Do you ever listen to the end to the all the way to the end? This is a test. What do we say at the end?
Something. Go Bills.
Perfect. Go Bills. And with that,
no, it's time to clock out.
Oh, time to clock out. Yes. Go Bills.
And clock back into the 9 to 5.
Sure. Not me.
then go Bills.
Not you. Summertime.
Summertime for the next 3 days. So have fun
Yeah, I
with
only
that.
got 3 days. So
All right.
make most of it.
All right. See you guys next time.
Yeah.
Bye.